So hema means blood. Okay. Let's go. List 3 functions of blood. Well, let's look. I don't know a lot about blood, especially off the top of my head, but let's read about it. Okay. Essential to life, blood carries out many vital functions and contributes to homeostasis as it connects the internal and external environments of the body. The blood, heart, and blood, heart, and blood vessels form the circulatory system. Blood is pumped by the heart and flows within tubes called blood vessels. As blood circulates, it transports dissolved nutrients and oxygen to cells from the digestive system and lungs, respectively, and carbon dioxide and other waste products from the cells to the lungs and kidneys to be removed by the body. Clotting proteins, hormones, ions, heat, and cells are also carried within the blood. Blood is the only connective tissue with a fluid extracellular matrix called plasma. Plasma is a mixture of substances dissolved or suspended in water. The formed elements are produced in red bone marrow and include red blood cells, white blood cells, and cell fragments called platelets. Red blood cells transport gases, white blood cells fight disease, and platelets help control blood loss. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so anything about transferring nutrients or oxygen? Let's see what the question gives us. Produces body heat, controls heat function. I don't know about, okay, hold on. I saw 2 of those, but let me see. Let me open another window here. I mean, another tab, I should say. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it transports body heat through circulation, prevents fluid loss through clotting mechanisms, and prevents infection through white blood cells and yeah, I'm pretty sure it's those 3. Check your answer. Let's see. Yeah, we're okay. Okay. All righty. The circulatory system is composed of the heart, blood vessels, and blood. We read that. The heart, blood vessels, and the blood itself. Okay. The liquid portion of blood is called plasma. We read that too. That's plasma. SMA. So far, so good. What is the correct term to describe red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets all included together? Red blood cells, white blood cells. I think that's formed elements, but let's look it up. I think it's formed element. Look it up. I think we kind of read that. But it's okay. Yeah, the formed elements are produced in red. Yeah, so remember, blood is the only connective tissue with a fluid extracellular matrix called plasma. That was the previous question. Um, Plasma is a mixture of substances dissolved or suspended in water. The formed elements are produced in red bone marrow. Yeah, so formed elements are red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So yes, the answer is formed element. Okay. In the word hemoglobin, the prefix hemo means not sure. So it'll tell us in the brackets probably. Let's see. So hemo means blood, as in hemoglobin. So the hemo means red, and then I mean blood, and then I guess the other must be like the red pigment, but hemo means blood. So there you go. Okay. Describe the shape of red blood cells. Bioconcave disc, squamosal, I guess, spherical, columnar, or cuboidal. I think they're spherical, but let's look it up. Red blood cells, also called erythrocytes, are shaped, oh, see, I'm glad I looked it up, are shaped like bioconcave discs as a result of losing most of their organelles including the nucleus during development. Some scientists suggest that the flattened shape with a depressed center increases the surface area relative to its volume, making it ideal for gas exchange. So it's a bioconcave disc. That's what they look like. They're bioconcave discs. Okay. So the first one. moist. The functions of blank include coagulation, clotting, body defense, leukocytes and antibodies, and the transport of nutrients, hormones, and wastes. That's the functions of blood. Because clotting is usually the white, the platelets. Body defense is the white blood cells, and then the red blood cells are the rest. So I would say blood. The functions of blood include all of those. List two names for the cells that transport oxygen in the blood. Two names for the cells that transport oxygen. Thrombocytes, leukocytes, red blood cells, erythrocytes, platelets, and white blood cells. Transport oxygen, I think that's the red, let's look, but I think that's the red blood cells that do that. Let's read them out. Okay, red blood cells, also called erythrocytes, are shaped like bioconcave. Okay, we read that. Some scientists suggest that the flattened shape with a depressed center increases the surface area relative to its volume, making it ideal for gas exchange. Occupying about 1/3 of a red blood cell's volume, hemoglobin, a globular protein that carries oxygen. Okay, so hemoglobin, which is part of a red blood cell, carries oxygen, is oriented close to the plasma membrane so that the distance for diffusion is reduced. A normal healthy concentration of hemoglobin in the blood is 13 to 18 grams per 100 milliliters in adult males and 12 to 16 grams per 100 milliliters in adult females. So I would say red blood cells and white and erythrocytes for that. They wanted to, so I think we're okay. The three components of the cardiovascular system are the heart, the blood, and the blank. I believe that's the blood vessels. We can look it up, but I believe that's the blood vessels. So, yeah, see, the blood, the heart, and blood vessels form the circulatory system. So, right there. So they just want blood vessels, one word in each box. Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. What protein located within red blood cells carries oxygen and carbon dioxide? I'm pretty sure that's hemoglobin because we were just reading about hemoglobin. Let's look it up, but I'm pretty sure that from what we read so far, it's hemoglobin. Yeah, it says hemoglobin is a globular protein that carries oxygen and some carbon dioxide. Is oriented close to the plasma membrane so that the distance for diffusion is reduced. So yes, that's hemoglobin. Okay. Plasma is it's the extracellular matrix of blood. Blood is the only connective tissue that has a fluid extracellular matrix. So plasma is the extracellular matrix of blood. Okay, let's see. In a fetus, the process of blank occurs in the yolk sac and spleen. After birth, this process occurs in the red bone marrow. Use the physiological terminology. Okay. The process of blank occurs in the yolk sac. Um, hmm. I'm not sure. Let's look at it. Let's look and see. Okay, we need to go up because we read that. Here's the picture. So the structure of hemoglobin molecules includes four polypeptide chains. The globin protein, each with a hema pigment, and in the center of each hema is an ion that binds to the oxygen. When the oxygen is bound to hemoglobin, resulting in oxyhemoglobin, the color of the blood is a bright red. And when oxygen is released, the resulting deoxyhemoglobin makes blood a darker color. Okay, scroll up because that's not exactly what we're looking for. Prolonged oxygen deficiency, hypoxia, causes the skin and mucous membranes to appear a bluish color due to an abnormally high blood concentration of deoxyhemoglobin in the superficial blood vessels, a condition called cyanosis. The blood is not blue, however, but appears blue because of how the tissue of the skin absorbs and reflects light. Exposure to low temperature may also result in cyanosis, which slows the blood flow by constricting superficial blood vessels. This gives additional time for more oxygen to diffuse out of the blood and consequently increases the concentration of deoxyhemoglobin. Okay. Okay, but that still has nothing to do with the fetus. Keep going. phlebotomy technician. Because red blood cells do not have mitochondria, they use none of the oxygen they carry. Consequently, they can only produce ATP through glycolysis. Without a nucleus, red blood cells cannot divide. Red blood cells, like all blood cells, are produced from stem cells in red bone marrow. The number of red blood cells in a microliter of blood is called the red blood cell count, or RBCC or RCC. This number varies from time to time, even in healthy individuals. However, the typical range for adult males is 4,700,000 to 6,100,000 cells per microliter, and that for adult females is 4,200,000 to 5,400,000 cells per microliter. An increase in the number of circulating red blood cells increases the blood's iron oxygen carrying capacity, much as a decrease in the number of circulating blood cells decreases in the blood's oxygen carrying capacity. Changes in this number may affect health. For this reason, red blood cell counts, as well as hematocrit and hemoglobin concentration, are routinely consulted to help diagnose and evaluate the courses of certain diseases, such as cancer. Let's see if, does it say anything in the green box about go up? We still have more on this page, but go continue. Does it have more? Okay. Okay, this might have something. Red blood cell formation, erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis during fetal development occurs in the yolk sac, liver, and spleen. After birth, these blood cells are produced in red bone marrow, a process called hematopoiesis. Okay, so the fetal development of red blood cell formation is erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis. And after birth, it's hematopoiesis. Which one did they want? Let's check. Let's go to the question, because I'm not sure if they wanted erythroid or hematopoiesis. In the fetus, sorry. I would say I would go with the one in parenthesis. I don't remember. ERYTHROPOIESIS, something like that. Erythrop, yeah, I have trouble saying that word. Erythropoiesis. You have to go down. And after the questions, right here. I think it's the word in parenthesis that they want. Erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis. Mm-hmm. Oh, they would have taken either one. Okay. In addition to cell fragments called platelets, the formed elements of blood include. Okay, so those are um, red and white blood cells. So red, and they have the word and. So okay, give me a second. I'm just gonna something here. Um, During red blood cell development, a cell called a blank is formed, having ejected most of its organelles, but still containing some rough endoplasmic reticulum. When this cell rejects its remaining RER, it becomes a mature blank. Okay, I don't know about red blood cell development, so we have to look. During red blood cell development, a cell called a blank is formed, having ejected most of its organelles, but still containing some rough. Okay. Okay, let's look it up and see. Um, okay, okay, we need the development. So scroll down. Um, okay. Prolonged oxygen. Okay, that's about phlebotomy. But that's not about how blood cells develop. So we need to keep going. Because we're looking for how blood cells develop. And that's about having more red blood cells is healthier. Okay, keep going. there more on this page? Okay, so bone function. Okay. Um, figure 12.5. Yeah, okay. This is what we needed. Figure 12.5 illustrates the development of red blood cells from hematopoietic stem cells, blood forming cells, which are called, they're also called hemocytoblasts. As red blood cells develop, they synthesize hemoglobin. When there is enough hemoglobin, most of the organelles are ejected, forming a reticulocyte that still contains some rough endoplasmic reticulum. This young red blood cell enters circulation, ejects its remaining rough endoplasmic reticulum, and becomes a mature erythrocyte. So, um, I think it's reticulocyte and then erythrocyte. That's what I think. Let's go back and look. Yeah, I think this is a reticulocyte. RET. ICULOCYTE. And this, the other one is erythrocyte, which I think is it ERY? I think it is. ERYTHROCYTE. You can check the spelling, but I think, yeah, ERYTHROCYTE. PHROCYTE. Oh, oh, it just didn't want the S. It was the right word, but it didn't want the S. It becomes a mature erythrocyte. Yeah. But it's okay. That's the right word. It just didn't want the S. All right. Go to the next question. The type of blood cell that is shaped as a biconcave disc is a red blood cell. We've been looking at the picture so many times. It's a red blood cell. The hormone erythropoietin controls the rate of red blood cell formation through blank feedback mechanisms. Don't know. I have to, we need to read it. Okay. Keep going. There's our red blood cells again. There's our oxygen. Keep going. And then we have the phlebotomy career. And how they, okay. Okay, so, all right. Um, as the red blood cells develop, they synthesize hemoglobin. When there's enough hemoglobin, most of the organelles are ejected, forming a reticulocyte that still contains some rough. Okay, this is what we read before. It contains some rough endoplasmic reticulum that gets ejected, and when that immature endoplasmic reticulum is pushed out, then you end up with a mature blood cell. But that's okay. So we're on the right track, but we need to know what kind of feedback mechanism it is. So let me see what sliding. Yeah. Okay, so this young red blood cell enters circulation. It ejects its remaining rough endoplasmic reticulum and becomes a mature erythrocyte. It takes 3 to 5 days. But okay, keep going. Because that was the last question that we answered. That's not this question. Is there more underneath about the type of, okay. The hormone, okay, here we go. The hormone erythropoietin, erythropoietin, erythropoietin controls the rate of red blood cell formation through negative feedback. So it would be negative feedback. The kidneys and to a lesser extent the liver release erythropoietin in prolonged oxygen deficiency, in response to prolonged oxygen deficiency. At high altitudes, for example, where the amount of oxygen in the air is reduced, the blood oxygen level initially decreases. This drop in the blood oxygen level triggers the release of erythropoietin, which travels via the blood to the bone marrow and stimulates red blood cell production. So, negative feedback. Negative feedback. So the answer is negative. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good job. Okay, erythrocyte is the name for a, you should know this one,
Then go to we white blood cells.
It's red. Red. The white ones are leukocytes. We haven't read too much about those yet. The white ones are for immune function. The red ones are for oxygen transport because the red ones have hemoglobin. So yeah, erythrocytes are red blood cells. Okay. Erythropoietin is released into the bloodstream when the blood levels of oxygen decrease. We just read that. When the blood levels of oxygen are are decreasing, when your body is experiencing oxygen deficiency. Okay. So when the blood levels of oxygen decrease. Okay. Within red blood cells, the blank molecules function to carry oxygen. Okay. All right, let's look it up. Okay, so with it's the question was within red blood cells, the blank function to carry oxygen. So hemoglobin, a globular protein that carries oxygen, is oriented close to the plasma membrane. I think it would be hemoglobin, but I'm not sure what they're looking for there, but because of the way they asked it. Hold on. I would say hemoglobin. What it's saying here. And that's what the book said. But I don't know if it's looking for like a more specific hemoglobin, I think. I think it's hemoglobin. Let's check. Go ahead and type it and see. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's what they wanted. Which two vitamins influence red blood cell production? I have no idea. So let's look it up. Okay, we read that. So scroll down. We read that too. And then okay, this is about how the reticulocyte becomes the erythrocyte. Okay, but we need something about vitamins. The average lifespan of blood is 120 days. Many of these cells are removed from circulation each day, and yet the number of cells in the circulating blood remains relatively stable. This observation suggests a homeostatic control of the rate of red blood cell production. The hormone erythropoietin controls the rate of red blood cell formation through negative feedback. The kidneys and to a lesser extent the liver release erythropoietin in response to prolonged oxygen deficiency. This drop in the blood oxygen level triggers the release of erythropoietin, which travels via the blood to the red bone marrow and stimulates red blood cell production. Okay, but I need to know something about the vitamins that make up blood. So we need to keep going. As after a few, okay, that's about high altitudes. The availability of B complex vitamins, vitamin B12 and folic acid significantly influences red blood cell production. Because these vitamins are required for DNA synthesis, they're necessary for the growth and division of cells. Cell division is frequent in blood forming hematopoietic tissue, but so this tissue is especially vulnerable to a deficiency of either of these vitamins. So B12 and folic acid. And it says hemoglobin synthesis and normal red blood cell production also requires iron. So B12, folic acid, and iron. Okay, so let's check your list. So, okay, B12 and folic acid. And the one below it, B12. Mm-hmm. In adults, erythropoiesis occurs in So, okay, I think we read about this before. Because we were had to go back and read about them. Let's click on it, but I think that's um bone marrow. Let's see. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Okay, yeah. So red blood cell formation. See it there? Red blood cell formation, erythropoiesis during fetal development occurs in the yolk liver and spleen. So it would be red. So let's go to them. Questions when you're ready. Hold on. That wasn't, let me see. Let me look at it this way. I don't know. Okay, it's telling me that it takes place in the bone marrow, but it's not telling me what. Okay, hold on. In adults, in I would say, let me see, what is I would say red because it can't be anywhere else because the erythrocytes have hemoglobin and those are going to be red blood cells. So they would be in the red bone marrow. But I can't find anything else specifically other than that. Red, try red. Because I think what they're trying to do is distinguish the features that you could use if you have red bone marrow versus another color, but I think that's red. Okay, so now um iron is required for the synthesis of hemoglobin. We read about that when we read about vitamin, but I think let's look it up. But I'm pretty sure when we were reading about vitamins, it said that. Scroll down. It's in the section on when you get to vitamins. Yeah, so here, okay, that's control. Keep going. We're looking for more about the vitamins. Okay, yeah, so erythropoietin controls the rate of red blood cell formation through negative feedback. The kidneys, and to a lesser extent the liver, release erythropoietin in response to prolonged oxygen deficiency. At high altitude, okay. Okay, keep going. After a few days, polycythemia. Um, the availability of B complex vitamins, B12 and folic acid, significantly influences blood cell production. We said that earlier. They asked us a question about that. Because these vitamins are required for DNA synthesis, they are necessary for the growth and division of cells. Cell division is frequent in blood forming hematopoietic tissue, so this tissue is especially vulnerable to a deficiency of either of these vitamins. Hemoglobin synthesis and normal red blood cell production also require iron. Yeah, so iron. The small intestine absorbs iron slowly from food. The body reuses much of the iron released by the decomposition of hemoglobin from damaged red blood cells. Nonetheless, insufficient dietary iron can reduce hemoglobin synthesis. So iron is the thing that's needed besides B12 and folic acid. So you can go to the question. And it says, um, so that would be hemoglobin. Iron is required for the synthesis of hemoglobin. The second one. It takes blank for development of a hematoblast to a mature red blood cell. I don't remember how long it takes. I remember that they live for about 120 days before they are replaced, but I don't remember how long it takes to form, so we have to look it up. I just. Okay. Um, okay, we read that. Keep going. More. Mm, I think it's after this. I think it's after right around. It takes 3 to 5 days from for development from a hematoblast to a mature red blood cell. That's the last sentence in this paragraph. Takes 3 to 5 days for the development of a hematoblast to a mature red blood cell. Okay. So that's so it's 3 to 5 days. Through negative feedback, the hormone blank controls the rate of blood cell formation. Okay, let's look up the spelling of that hormone. Um, let's read about it. So, okay, this is the picture. Go ahead. We're looking for the name of the hormone that controls red blood cell formation. So we need, keep going. Okay, going. And then here, um, okay, we're getting closer. Keep going. We read all that already. Okay, there's your hormone. Erythropoietin, the blue word. That's the word that goes in the box. Erythropoietin. Yeah. A generalized condition in which there's too little hemoglobin or too few erythrocytes is called, I think that's anemia. We can read about it, but I'm pretty sure that's anemia there. Okay, we have to go down past everything we read already. Yeah, okay. Whoa. Okay. Okay, that's about when you have oxygen deficiency. Keep going. We read that. As refuted, okay. An excessive increase in red blood cells is polycythemia. This condition increases blood viscosity, slowing blood flow and impairing circulation. The availability of B complex vitamins significantly influences blood cell production. The small intestines, okay, we read that. Scroll up past the yellow paragraph. A deficiency of red blood cells or a reduction in the amount of hemoglobin they contain results in a condition called anemia. This reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, and the person with anemia may appear pale and lack energy. There are several types of anemia which are briefly categorized and described. A pregnant woman who has a number of red blood cells, a normal number of red blood cells, might develop a relative anemia if the plasma volume increases due to fluid retention. This shows up as a decreased hematocrit. Okay, so that's anemia, that question that you just um, looked at. Uh-huh. There's two conditions in which the rate of erythropoiesis is increased. Two conditions in which the rate of erythropoiesis is increased. Mm, I would say no, because there's, hmm, hold on. I can do this. I can say erythropo erythropoiesis. Very strange. Let me see which one it is. Um, low blood oxygen or decreased oxygen levels in blood decrease, the fourth one. And um, um, We're missing one. Um, I would say, um, I would say erythropoietin levels increase. The first one. Because the hormone, the poietin is the hormone, and then the development is the phoresis part of it. All right. After hemoglobin is broken down and into heme and globin, heme decomposes into iron, which is later recycled in the bone marrow, and a greenish pigment called, I don't know, I don't remember reading about any green pigments. We'll have to read it and see. I don't remember. Heme and globin. After hemoglobin is broken down. Okay, keep going. Hematoblasts. We read that. We need something about, I think, bilirubin in the liver. Okay, that's about anemia. Is there anything else in here? Okay, this is a different kinds of anemia. Bone marrow and stem cell transplants. Um, okay, here. Hemoglobin molecules liberated from red blood cells break down, separating the hema group from the four polypeptide globin chains. These chains are broken down further into amino acids that can be used in protein synthesis. The heme part further decomposes into iron and a greenish pigment called biliverdin. Carrier proteins in the blood may transport the iron to hematopoietic tissue in red bone marrow to be used in synthesizing new hemoglobin. However, most of the iron is stored in the liver in the form of an iron protein complex. Biliverdin is eventually converted into an orange-yellow pigment called bilirubin. Biliverdin and bilirubin are secreted in the bile as bile pigments. Okay. So it's biliverdin is the green one, and bilirubin is the orange yellow pigment. Okay, let's go back. So a greenish pigment, the greenish pigment is biliverdin, which gets converted to bilirubin. So it's the top one. Biliverdin, the greenish pigment, and bilirubin. It's converted later. It's the top choice with biliverdin first. Okay, um there's 3 dietary factors required. Okay, so do you remember what they are? This time we want all 3.
I think it's like vitamin B12.
That's one.
Mm, I think it's like folic acid.
Folic acid, right? And the one that prevents anemia, certain kinds of anemia.
Would it be iron?
Right. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3. Very good. Match the product of red blood cell destruction. Okay, yeah, we didn't read about the destruction yet, so we can't answer this question. The destruction was what we were about to get to after we read the last thing. So go all the way down to about the fate and destruction of red blood cells. Keep going. More. Keep going. More. Turn. Okay, stop there. Okay. So they get damaged and they break the hemoglobin, and then most of the iron stored in the liver um let's see, in the form of an iron protein complex. Okay, keep going. We read most of that. Keep going. Okay, in jaundice icterus, accumulation of bilirubin turns the skin and eyes yellowish. Newborns can develop physiologic jaundice a few days after birth. This condition may be the result of immature liver cells that ineffectively secrete bilirubin into bile. Treatment includes exposure to fluorescent light, which breaks down bilirubin in the tissues and feedings that promote bowel movements. In hospital nurseries, babies treated for physiological jaundice lie under lights, clad only in diapers and protective goggles. The healing effect of fluorescent light was discovered in the 1950s when an astute nurse noted that babies with jaundice improved after sun exposure, except in the areas their diapers covered. Oh, interesting. I never knew that. Okay, let's scroll down. Okay, this is white. Wait, we need red. We still need the destruction of red blood. I think we need the picture. Go back up. Go back up. Because I think there was part of, yeah, okay, this thing here. So nutrients are absorbed by the small intestine. Blood transports are absorbed by nutrients. Nutrients and erythropoietin are used by red bone marrow to produce red blood cells. Red blood cells circulate in the bloodstream for about 120 days. Macrophages in the liver and the spleen phagocytize and break down old blood cells. Hemoglobin is broken down into globin and hema. Globin is further degraded into amino acids that may be reused. Heme is further broken down into iron, which can be either stored or recycled to produce hemoglobin and myoglobin, and most bilirubin, biliverdin is converted to bilirubin. Okay. Okay, let's see what they ask us in the question. Because that's what they have in the destruction of iron, bilirubin, biliverdin, and globin. Okay, so the orange pigment, do you remember? What's the orange pigment called?
It's globin.
No, that's bilirubin. Secreted into bile or excreted by the kidneys is bilirubin. And biliverdin is the greenish pigment that's eventually converted to orange pigment and secreted into bile. Let's see. And then there should be a third one, right? Globin and iron. Oh no, globin and iron. Okay. So go back to the picture that we were reading. Globin and iron. So okay, so it says hemoglobin. This is number 6. Hemoglobin is broken down into globin and heme. Globin is further degraded into amino acids that may be reused. So you break down globin into amino acid, then you recycle that. Hema is broken down into iron, which is stored or recycled. So globin degrades into amino acids. Globin goes to amino acid, and hema goes to iron, which is recycled to produce hemoglobin and myoglobin. Let's see. Let's see the question again. So globin is broken down into amino acids and recycled, and iron is mostly recycled to the bone marrow. So iron goes with the one on the right, mostly recycled to bone marrow. And Yeah, that's fine. And globin is broken down into the amino acid and recycled. Iron is critical for the synthesis of heme. Okay, we want that's hemoglobin. Iron is critical for the synthesis of hemoglobin, the oxygen carrying protein in red blood cells. That's hemoglobin. Now, the technical term for a white blood cell is, but then we haven't read about the white blood cell yet. They were coming up next. But we have to go and look at the white ones. But it's there for you. Okay. White blood cells, often also called leukocytes, leukocytes, leukocytes. Okay, that's the protect against disease. Blood transports leukocytes to sites of infection. Leukocytes can squeeze between the endothelial cells that form the smallest blood vessels. This movement, called diapedesis, allows the white blood cells to leave circulation. Once outside the blood, they move through interstitial spaces using a form of self-propulsion called amoeboid motion as they follow a chemical trail released by damaged tissues, an ability termed positive chemotaxis. Wow, that's pretty cool. Leukocytes. So the word they're looking for is the word in blue there. Leukocytes. Okay, good job. Arrange these cells in order of their formation. Okay. So, I think this is talking about the formation of a red blood cell. So we're back to that. Um, I want to say I just don't remember the myeloid stem cell, but I think they are, okay, hold on. Let me, so Hemato. Hemosis, hemocytoblast, myeloid stem cell, erythrocyte, and reticulocyte. So that's, yeah, so hematoblast stem cells become myeloid progenitors. So, okay, let's see. So hemo okay, so the one at the top is first, whatever that, hemocytoblast, myeloid stem cell, then it's gonna be reticulocyte, and then erythrocyte after that. Because the erythrocyte still has the endoplasmic reticulum. So yeah. I just wasn't sure if the stem cell came before the hematocytoblast, but the hematocytoblast comes first. Okay. The blood cells that primarily, okay, they're white. The blood cells that primarily function to protect the body against disease are the white ones. Mm-hmm. Anemia can occur because of either a deficiency of hemoglobin or a deficiency of red blood cells. I think so. I think we read that. Go back and read about it, but I think that's true. So we need to read about anemia. So keep going. Okay. Keep going. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, okay. A deficiency of red blood cells or a reduction in the amount of hemoglobin they contain results in a condition called anemia. Yeah, we did read that. So yes, that's a true statement on the screen. Mm. Okay, now leukocytes develop in blank in response to various hormones. Okay, let me see. Um, Hold on. Let me look it up. Leukocytes develop in let's see. Hmm. It's not gonna let me see that. Okay, well, let's do this. I have more than one way to look this up. Let me do that. Control A. Oops. Control A. Control C. And then I'll go again. Say leukocytes primarily develop in the red bone marrow, a process called hematopoiesis. Red bone marrow is the answer there. They develop there. Mm-hmm. In jaundice, the development of yellowish color of skin and eyes is due to the breakdown of. Okay, I think that is. We read about that. Hold on. Let me just move this over. There we go. Um, of yellow, green. Oops. Hemoglobin. B globulins. C antibodies. D. I'm gonna learn to spell that yet. Wait, it's here. Hemoglobin. Jaundice, yeah, so the answer there is hemoglobin. Jaundice is caused by the accumulation of bilirubin, a yellowish pigment that is produced during the breakdown of hemoglobin in red blood cells. When the liver is unable to produce or process, or excrete bilirubin properly, it builds up in the blood, leading to the yellowish appearance of skin and eyes. So hemoglobin is correct. Next question. Granulocytes circulating in blood cells include basophils, blank and blank. Okay. Granulocytes. Granulocytes circulating in blood include which three? So, lymphocyte, eosinophils, neutrophils, monocytes. Basophils, eosinophils, and neutrophils. So that's the second one. Neutrophils and eosinophils. Granulocytes are a category of white blood cells characterized by the presence of granules in their cytoplasm, which play a role in immune responses. In contrast, lymphocytes and monocytes are agranulocytes that lack granules. So it's the second one, neutrophils and eosinophils. What two products of red cell blood bleh, what two products of red blood cell destruction are secreted in bile? You should know this one. You should know that one.
So I think it would be
Biliverdin, and
bilirubin.
bilirubin, right? Yeah, good. Biliverdin is the green one. Bilirubin is the red and orange one. Good job. A phagocytic cell that kills bacteria by creating a respiratory burst is a blank. Okay. A phagocytic cell that kills bacteria by creating a respiratory burst. Oops. Burst is a neutrophil. Neutrophil. Neutrophils are a type of granulocyte and phagocytic white blood cell. They kill bacteria and other pathogens through a process called respiratory burst. In this process, neutrophils produce reactive oxygen species to destroy the engulfed pathogens. This is a key part of the innate immune response. Neutrophil is the word. Neutrophil. Neutrophil. Nice. Blank include lymphocytes, monocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Which of the following categories includes lymphocytes, monocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils? A no, it's not that, I'm pretty sure. Oops. Erythrocytes. B, rhombocytes. C, platelets. D, leukocytes. Leukocytes. They're all leukocytes because that's what we've been looking at. So they're all types of white blood cells that form part of the immune defense. Okay. Which type of leukocyte? Which type of leukocyte is involved in immunity? Lymphocytes, eosinophil, monocyte, neutrophil. Lymphocytes play a central role in immunity. Lymphocyte, the first one. Which blood cell component? Okay, you should remember this question. They gave you this question before. Which blood cell components protect the body against diseases?
Would it be white blood cells?
That's white blood cells, right? Good job. Ding. Which type of leukocyte typically increases during bacterial infection? Which type of leukocyte typically increases during bacterial infection? Eosinophil, basophil, or neutrophil? Oops, basophil, neutrophil, neutrophil. Neutrophils. Neutrophils are the first responders to bacterial infections. So neutrophils typically increase first. They rapidly increase in number and migrate to the site of infection to engulf and destroy bacteria through phagocytosis and the production of reactive oxygen species. Okay. In response to hormones, okay, let's see. Leukocytes develop from hematopoietic stem cells in a red bone marrow, which we talked about, that leukocytes develop in the red bone marrow. That's hematopoiesis. That's what we had talked about before with the erythropoietic development. So the answer here is red bone marrow. Okay. Would you like to stop here or would you like to go on for a little while?
Yes, we can stop here.
Okay. All right, Daniela. So, are you guys on spring break? Sweet.
No, I actually already had my spring break. I think it was like last week.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wondered because I thought that Oscar had his this week, so I was like, I
Oh
could,
yeah, I think maybe Oscar, he might have it like probably.
Cal State Long Beach had theirs, and I just thought Long Beach City would be on the same. But are you at Cerritos or Long Beach City?
No, I'm at Cerritos.
Oh yeah, that's why. Cerritos is always later. So Cerritos had theirs, I think, 2 weeks ago. They had theirs really early, so by the time Easter shows up, you don't even remember spring break anymore. Okay, no worries. Just wondering.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, we'll talk soon, Daniela. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You take care. Bye.
Bye.